For LandPost.com, I'm Michael Oleaga, and this is Turnout, the political series featuring government leaders and national advocates discussing what's most important to the Latino voting bloc.
As a child of a civil rights movement, I am keenly aware of what it is to come to the United States as an immigrant, not knowing the language and not knowing how to navigate a completely new set of circumstances, only knowing that it's a place where you have opportunities that you didn't have back home, and you need to seize those opportunities. There was no exception for me. As a child of the civil rights movement, we've seen challenges facing the city, the state and country, but I take it at the neighborhood level because I believe that the problems of this country and the problems that we face globally all go down to where we are raising our children, where we have our families, where we have the fabric of a neighborhood. And it is there that we need to really help shape the national policies that we have. It is bringing the voices of people and families and small businesses and immigrants and people who have been here many, many generations, all collectively looking to strive to improve and face the challenges we have, but also create opportunities, particularly for the young people in whom we have invested so much and sacrificed so much as families, but yet they're being challenged because you graduate from college and the avenues for you in the public and private sector are not there. So we need to be strategic in the short run, midterm run, and longer term run if we are going to make a difference. And this is what I think at this point this district needs, that type of experience, that type of energy, bringing people together to face the challenges that we have, but also to create opportunities that we need to have, particularly for our small businesses that are being challenged just like our families are, and our young emerging youth and professionals in the private and public sector that also need to play key roles. They need to hold the torch that we raised very high with Martin Luther King and the civil rights leaders that open opportunities for me and for so many others as children of the civil rights movement, which is, by the way, under attack. All the gains that we've made in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and beyond are now threatened by a wave of conservative right-wingers that want to see nothing but serving that 1%, when we know that what has built this country is the 99%. So I believe that the experience I bring is really what this district needs for me to be in Washington and to leverage on the relationship that I built throughout the 40 years of activism that I've had, which accounts for a lot. Because I built relationship with President Clinton, I did it with Hillary Clinton, I helped her become senator, I'm helping her now become president and make history as I made history. But this is something that we have to really pursue, looking at what the needs are in our base. We cannot turn our back to the base, and I think that that's the biggest strength that I have. I joined all of my colleagues in the state legislature through the task force, Puerto Rican Latino task force in Albany, in sending a message to the president, to the Congress, that the crisis that Puerto Rico faces now must be addressed by the Congress. Puerto Rico has been virtually under the control, complete control of the United States, and has sacrificed everything. Whenever we have a war, Puerto Ricans have been in the forefront. Whenever we've had crisis, Puerto Ricans have been there. We now have more Puerto Ricans in the States than we have in the island. But Puerto Rico has been a strategic location for the United States throughout its history. That in itself should be more than enough for the United States Congress to step up to the plate and come to the rescue and allow for Puerto Ricans to address this crisis that threatens the entire island. I have been very critical numerous times of the massive deportation. It has been extremely detrimental to families. Often there have been people deported back home when they've lived here most of their life. This is the country that they know. But I think what is the most devastating part is when you rip apart families and the impact that has and has created. So that is why the executive action that the president is now pursuing, I fully support. He, I think, has come to term with the devastation and the impact deporting massive numbers of undocumented abroad, not just to neighborhoods, to cities, states, and to this country. But he is trying to address this, and I'm hopeful that this will take hold while the paralysis that we have in Washington, in the Congress, still holds. And it is my hope that his action will help remedy the devastation that so many families have experienced over the time that he's been president. You could never turn your back to the base, to the people who you serve, to the people who brought you to where you are. If you lose sight of that, you're lost. And the highest place that you can be, no matter how much responsibility you carry in your shoulder, is to always be committed to the people who place in you the trust, but also the expectation that you were going to look after them and you were going to look to improve their condition alongside them, because they are, at the end of the day, the one that would open doors, the one that would knock on doors, the one that will bring about change. And that's the constant for me. We can face any challenge as we come together to face that challenge, and we can create any opportunity that can promise a better future for the families, for the small businesses that we have, for the young people, and for future generations to come.